Yes. Ah, there we go. Great. Okay. So I want to make sure that everything is, we will always have a technological issue here. Okay. Monique, maybe you could just communicate with Lucas that he can turn off his camera. Okay, great. So getting into Xero, obviously we are a Xero Gold partner, BDO Namibia. We've done quite a few conversions already, and we seem to be doing more and more and more and more. What's the difference between Xero and any other accounting package, or the traditional accounting packages, is that Xero is cloud-based. A lot of the solutions that we are looking at and the solutions that are being offered to us are in the cloud. Microsoft is in the cloud. Excel, Word, Outlook are all now in the cloud. You've got Google Docs, which is in the cloud. So this is where everyone is moving. So it would be a natural transition for your accounting systems to also move into the cloud. So having a look at what we'll be dealing with today, and I pushed too quickly there. We'll have a look at our introduction again. I'll show the video again. We'll have a look at the benefits, the features. We'll have a look at Xero Central and free online training. Look at the marketplace, the pricing, and then HubDoc versus Dext. And I must say that contrary to my previous sessions that I've had where I said I'm a Dext man, I must say that HubDoc has impressed me tremendously in the last couple of weeks. So I'm becoming more and more and more a HubDoc fan, but Dext still does have its market space. And then we'll have a look at the reporting demonstration, and then hopefully we'll have a questions and answer session too. So I'm trying to rush through the first 7 points. Then we'll spend time on the 8th point, and hopefully we'll have at least half an hour that I can deal with any of your individual questions. Okay, great. So looking at our introduction to Xero, and we will pray to the little internet gods that everything works fine today. Let's cue the video. And hopefully everyone will be able to hear that.
While taking the time you need to set up your account correctly. Start with connecting bank feeds for your bank account. It's an easy task that only takes a few minutes, but the benefits are huge. Because your bank statement lines are brought into Xero automatically, it's practically effortless to keep your accounts accurate and up to date. Next, add your organization details and customize your invoices by simply uploading your business logo. Add a payment service to enable your customers to easily pay your invoices online by just clicking Pay Now. These are simple items to set up and won't take too long. You can now start processing transactions and invoicing your customers anywhere, anytime, and you're in business. Once you're up and running, it's time to customize the chart of accounts to get your accounting right going forward. 2 simple changes to the default chart to suit your business may be all you need. If you're importing a chart of accounts from your old system, you'll want to set aside some extra time to do this. Lucky for you, we provide tools to take the pain out of this process. You can import your chart along with opening balances straight into Xero using the template provided. And don't forget, wherever you are in Xero, help is never too far away. Do you have an existing list of customers and suppliers? You can import those into Xero too. If you have an accountant or bookkeeper, Xero enables you to collaborate with them to grow your business. If you're looking for one, you'll find plenty of Xero certified advisors at xero.com/advisors. And check out the Xero app marketplace if you have more complex needs for your industry-specific business, like farming, hairdressing, manufacturing, and more. To learn more, you can check out Xero TV. There you'll find short videos on how to set up and get the best out of the features. Welcome to Xero. It's a pleasure doing business.
Okay, I think that it's about time that they came out with a new video, but besides that, just having a look at the benefits that we can look at from Xero. Obviously, it's real time and mobile. I think that is some of the greatest impact for my clients is the fact that it's real time and mobile. I've got clients that are reviewing their books from Europe, from Switzerland, are able to incorporate transactions from different branches throughout Namibia. So I think the real-time part of it is fundamental in a world where we're selling online and we want our data a lot faster in our books. The traditional sort of, oh, well, I'll do an invoice and then it gets processed, and then maybe a week later I will see a trial balance or sales report where it comes on. That we don't need anymore. That we've got at our fingertips. And as an advisor, it's great to actually introduce that kind of stuff to the clients. So no sooner do I sort of get my clients on that, I invite them in, even if it's on a view-only basis, and say, look, process an invoice or do a quote, have a look at a report. So the real-time and mobile is incredibly important in today's world. Up to date, obviously, Xero is automatically updated every 3 to 6 weeks to reflect changes in tax rates and provide you with new features. So obviously, they don't update our Namibian tax rates. We've got that, and that has been 15% for quite some time. But there are product updates. There's a big update that's happening at the end of July, particularly on the reporting module. But you'll simply log in and you'll see that there will be an option for you to have a look at the new update or have a look at a new screen, or do you want to adopt the new or old invoicing style. So there's no such thing as waiting for an advisor to come around to your office and then go to each machine, update it manually, or tell your network advisor to push the update on an update server. This is all done in the cloud, and once you log in, you present it with the changes. Saves time. You can save time with easy uploading of bank statements, invoices, and credit card transactions. We've had this conversation before about hopefully getting our banks to climb on board and start offering bank feeds. But even so, the uploading of your bank statements, being able to do a quote from your cell phone or from your iPad, being able to do an invoice and send that invoice to your client from your cell phone it just saves time generically. Secure, obviously, Xero securely stores your data online. I know some of my, I'm going to say my more weathered, I'm not going to say old, my weathered clients, say, well, the cloud and, how safe is it? What if there's a war? And what if there's an electromagnetic pulse and all of that kind of thing? Well, number one, if there is something like that, it's not only going to affect your records, it's going to affect everyone's records. And they've got, in the cloud, they've obviously got built-in redundancies to accommodate for that. So, for example, a backup of a particular data center is not held on the same continent. These things are seen on a worldwide basis. So if a particular data center goes down, your data should be readily available from another data center. So we have to start trusting it in the technology. I think for me, who used to be a stalwart of putting your memory stick in and making sure you have a backup on Friday, and then having a one monthly backup, and that was kept in a safe on a different premises. All of that you can throw out of the window. It's all in the cloud. It's all backed up for you, and they've got redundancies in there. As a last resort, you are able to export your general ledger transactions into an Excel or a PDF if you want to have a manual sort of backup on site. Collaborative, you and your accountant can look at the same information at the same time, helping you to work together to make more formal business decisions, informed business decisions. We are finding that is the most exciting part of moving our clients onto the Xero platform, and that is being able to move away from the data processor. In other words, so we're sitting there and we're just processing data all the time, to being more of an advisor. So it's a great change. I mean, you don't want to pay an accountant, you know, whatever their hourly rate is to process an accounting transaction. If it can get into your books automatically, basically automatically, or you could do it, and you don't even know that you're doing it, or that it's not taking you a lot of time. And then you could rather rely on your accountants to be advisors. In other words, do I need to worry about my cash flow? I'm making an application to the bank and giving management accounts, you know, those kinds of things. So the collaborative part of it is very exciting for our accountants here, because they don't want to be processors either. And it's good for our client relations. In other words, we're being more proactive and interactive with the clients. A lot of the negativity in the industry, in the accounting industry, and I suppose in most service-related industries is, BDO never gets back to me. BDO only speaks to me once a year. You know, those kinds of things. That's not happening anymore, because I can log in the morning and see that your bank recon is way behind, and I can give you a call and say, listen, can I help you fix that? So the collaborative aspect of Xero, I think, is revolutionary and is well needed. Over 500 add-ons. We'll have a look at the marketplace a little bit later, but the marketplace is basically where you can buy industry-specific add-ons to the product. So, for example, Xero, you should see as your financial statement reporting center with basic accounting functionality like invoices and bills, etc. But if you wanted something that was specific, point of sale software, or something that was related to your industry, maybe you are hiring cars and you want you know, some more sort of point of sale and client feedback kind of software, there's 500 different add-on programs. It's in excess of 500 different add-on programs, and they're all cloud-based and they're all interact with Xero. A lot of your non-cloud-based software, like I'm just thinking of like Pastel Partner, and we use a program called Greatsoft. Greatsoft now also is built in an integration into Xero, so you can actually push data from non-cloud-based accounting software into cloud-based accounting software. Okay, helpful. I'll show you a little bit later, but Xero adds an interactive help function and sort of training function built into the program. So that seems to be very healthy. And I must say, I've never had a query where I've put or logged a call with Xero internationally where I haven't received a sort of an answer within 12 hours. And I'm saying 12 hours is very, very, very broad. It's generally 1 or 2 hours, and someone will get back to you. Right, and then trusted by more than 1 million customers across the world. Started in Xero. Xero started in New Zealand, and it's spread through Australia. Obviously spread now through Africa, or spreading through Africa and Europe. So 1 million customers, and I still don't see a speed decrease. So I'm very happy about that. Great. Okay, moving on to the next one, features of Xero. And what I generally do is I link it into the website so we can just have a look at the features. And if we have a look at them, we've got pay bills, so track and pay bills on time. Very important that when you're processing in detail, you're providing all the information. So when you process a bill or a supply, flow, and when you process an invoice, when you expect to receive that money. So if you're doing the receipt and the payments of your cash, you can better work out your cash flow. for a particular period. In other words, am I going to be cash negative at the end of the month and I need to get some financing or an overdraft facility, or am I going to be cash positive and I put some away into savings? Okay, paying expenses, manage spending and submitting of reimbursed expenditure automatically, so we can obviously look at how we're spending the money, and then also whether that money spent should, for example, come off one of the owner's loan account, or should it come off, or should it, for example, come off the business as a business expense. Bank connections. Oh, it will be a great day in Namibia when we eventually have bank connections up and running. It just seems like there's so much red tape with regards to that, and it's not a difficult process. And I know that some of the banks are now saying, oh, they can do it, but it really isn't what we needed. We need to have bank feeds where, for example, your bank would automatically push your bank statement into Xero on a daily basis. So that functionality is not available from the banks yet. We're working with them. I said it before, I think Bankmatic is the closest to being able to do that. But the basic functionality is that when you log on in the morning, your bank will be updated. So you won't need to go, if your boss asks you, listen, what's the bank balance standing at this morning? You won't need to go into the bank. You can simply go into Xero and you'll see what it is, because every morning at say 7 o'clock in the morning, it'll push the bank statement through. Okay, accept payments, accept online payments by credit card, debit card, or direct debit. What we've got there is you can definitely add your Visa payments. I know South Africa's got Apple Pay now. You can also, I think we've got a Pay Buddy that is working quite closely with a couple of the Xero clients, whereby when you send an invoice out, there will actually be a little button. So in the PDF or in the HTML page that you've sent your client to, they can push there, put their credit card details in, and pay you immediately. That payment that gets uploaded and allocated against the invoice. So you don't really almost need to do anything from that transaction. Simply go, yes, it's been processed. Tracking projects. The project tracker has been used by some of my clients. It's a very simple module that allows you to add, sort of like project time into it and group your expenses that relate to a particular project. We can also do that with tracking. So a lot of the clients are also looking at or utilizing the tracking options that are available. GST returns or VAT returns, we've been submitting VAT returns and been preparing VAT returns for clients on Xero, and the reporting is adequate at this particular point. In actual fact, with the audit trail, I think it is, it exceeds our expectations. Right, payroll. At the moment, as I've said before, these situations have not changed. Hopefully, Sarah Mins, our account manager, will be coming along with one or two of the other account managers, and we are hoping to host sort of like a XeroCon conference here in Namibia in due course. So hopefully look out for it being advertised in maybe the next 2 months, whereby we can get a couple of the local suppliers that supply software that integrates with Xero. We all get together and we can chat about how we can make accounting much more online and obviously faster and more reliable. So payroll, unfortunately, Xero's payroll does not work for any of the African countries. So we make use of a software called PaySpace. PaySpace does have a Namibian payroll. It's in the cloud and it integrates into Xero. Right, bank reconciliations. If you've ever done a bank reconciliation in Xero, it is fun. It's almost like a game. I don't know. Am I hearing an echo? Or someone could someone mute themselves? Me? Oh, maybe it's Gordon. No, mute Gordon. Yes. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm just hearing. I'm hearing myself in my. Okay. So obviously getting to your. We were on bank reconciliations. The bank reconciliation, as I said, it changes the way you process the cash book. Conventionally or traditionally, we used to have a bank statement and a cash book, and we used to manually reconcile those two items together. With Xero, you process basically from the bank statement. So your cash book will always balance if you've processed all of your bank transactions. Manage Xero contacts. We've talked about the concept of, on previous sessions or in previous sessions, we've talked about the concept of a customer and a supplier and said, well, in actual fact, in today's world, we're selling and buying from the same contact. And hence, instead of calling them a supplier or a customer traditionally, we'll now just call them a contact. In other words, someone that you buy and sell to. It's got a very powerful contacts module built in and with a couple of features that I think are unique. Capturing data, get copies of data and key data stored into Xero automatically. HubDoc is obviously for free, so it comes with your Xero subscriptions. And I must say that recently I've had assisted a client to move on to HubDoc, and I have been impressed. The machine learning behind it has improved. It has become faster. So you will see that if you send, for example, an invoice from the city of Windhoek through, it actually captures that data quite quickly. Previously, it was still learning the structure of the invoice. Right, files, Xero has an online file storage area. Not only that, but if you are processing your documents using HubDoc, the individual supplier invoice is attached to the transaction in your GL. So you can simply click on the transaction, zoom in, and then you can actually go and view that invoice, the PDF of that invoice. So VAT audits in countries where there are laws that define electronic documents. Unfortunately, we're still 1 or 2 steps behind that. But VAT audits in countries where you do have electronic document legislation, the VAT audits are like 15 minutes. You invite the tax consultant in, he views the transactions he wants to view, and when he's finished, you simply throw him out your set of accounts. Audit done 15 minutes. Okay, reporting is something we're going to deal with today, and I'm going to show you if you're on Xero, why you've been getting that old version versus new reports, and then also how to sort of like write your own custom report. Inventory, Xero's got built-in inventory. You've got online invoicing. Please, when I say inventory, it's a very basic module of inventory. So we're not talking about a manufacturing module. We're not talking. It's basically I'm a reseller or a retailer. I buy a particular product and I sell it with a profit. If you do require something additional, you need to go on to or add a different module onto your subscription. Online invoicing, obviously, I can send the invoice to my clients either online or with a PDF attachment. With it being online, then hopefully your client is paying you faster. That's the most important thing. Get your customers in as quickly as possible and pay your suppliers as late as possible without incurring interest. Okay, the basics of a positive cash flow. Right, multi-currency, Xero uses xe.com to process multi-currency. You'll see a little bit later, we'll deal with the different package sizes. But basically, if you are using multi-currency, it's converting using xe.com's online exchange rates. And multi-currency is almost seamless. You can state that transaction in the foreign currency or the local currency or base currency, and it gets the exchange rates online. Purchase orders and quotes are built in. You have some functionality there about how many purchase orders you've actually done, how many have been processed with your quotes. You can also link your quotes to automatically to your invoices. Also, what quotes have been accepted versus rejected. So you've got some statistics and functionality on purchase ordering and quotes. And then obviously we've got analytics and the accounting dashboard is almost the same kind of thing. They try to sell you analytics, so you get free analytics up to a point, and then you need to buy if you want to see additional analytics. But looking at the reporting, you can actually sort of pull out your own kind of analytical data if you really want to. It might not be as flashy as what Xero sells you, like the pie charts and graphs and all the rest of it, but it'll give you the information that you want. Accounting dashboard, obviously, when we do a little intro to Xero, you'll see the accounting dashboard that you can each user can customize for their own login. A fixed asset module, very exciting. It has a fixed asset module built in. I've done one or two of those. But once you're comfortable with Xero, it's time to throw that Excel spreadsheet that defines your fixed assets or details your fixed assets. It's time to throw it away and integrate it into Xero. The fixed asset module works quite well. Integrated apps, we've dealt with that already. We'll have a look at the App Store a little bit later. And then Xero accounting app, run your small business from anywhere and remain productive in otherwise unproductive moments with the accounting app. So that's just telling you that you can download the Xero and the HubDoc app from either the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store or Apple Store. And then you can do certain functionality. So you can do an invoice from your phone if you want to. Right. Going to try and want to make sure that we don't. Let me just get back to my. Trying very desperately to get back to my presentation. There we go. Okay. So having a look at those with the features, Xero Central and online trading. I generally just take you into that. So basically, your Xero Central is where you can actually get your training, and for that we've got support. So here you can ask any kind of question. If that question is not answered by one of the help functions, you can actually it'll sort of push you into logging a call with them. But you can type how to change my back rate, for example. Sorry, just going to give you an example of that. And it'll generally come up with a whole bunch of different options for us. I think we've got two training sessions coming out of the office at the same time, so some things might be a little bit slow. How your default tax rate and accounting settings work, and you can click on that, and it'll actually tell you eventually step by step what to do. So really, if you are self-motivated with regards to Xero and learning Xero, there's no ways you'll take the default tax rate and it'll actually guide you into doing that. Not only in Xero Central do you have the support, but you also have the learning module. And here you can actually go and certify yourself on some of the modules that they've got to set up and use Xero work papers, customize invoice settings, setting up your small business. So you can do these little courses, and what it'll eventually do is it'll add these little badges to you. So you've done the accounting, the basic accounting course, and you know, you should hopefully. I always encourage my clients, although we generally do a face-to-face session, for the accountants to go on and watch some of the videos, do some of the question and answer sessions, and you get a little badge behind your name at the end of the day. Right, all of this is built in and it's for free. So you don't have to have a paid Xero training session. You can actually just come here and do it. Okay, going back to our slideshow. Oops, I think we went one too far. Just go back here. I think it's that way. Okay, if we power up with our connected apps, each region or country generally has a Xero global site and a sort of a marketplace site. And here, other software developers can actually sort of advertise their particular software. So, for example, we've got Spotlight here, which is Spotlight reporting. And if you click on it, it'll take you to Spotlight. And if I click on Spotlight a little bit further, and we don't want to go onto it, I just want to go and view it. Let's see, must be a link here. Accept. Don't want to actually set it up. Just want to go to Spotlight reporting. No. Oh well, we can just do it this way and go Spotlight reporting. Okay, if you click there, it'll generally take you to the website, and here you can simply subscribe. So you can subscribe to this service, and when you're in and when you're setting up your Spotlight reporting service, it'll ask you, do you want to integrate it into your Xero accounts? And you say yes. It'll then ask you, do you log in? Please log into your Xero set of accounts using the Spotlight website generally. It then creates all those links for you, and your Spotlight reporting subscription is then automatically linked to your Xero subscription. Okay, and Spotlight reporting is, I've used that because we've utilized it before, but this is where you can get all the graphy stuff that you like. So you can draft a default set of management accounts, and with one click of a button every month, and you can actually generate your reports and then email them directly to the owners or whomever. Right. Okay. So that's the marketplace, and there are many. Let's just go back here. There are many add-on programs. I think there's well over 500 at the moment. It's not just sticking at 500. So you've got Cashflow, Frog. You've got Book AI. There's CRM and reporting, bills and expenses, Expensify. You've got Approval Max. It's something that we're using in the office where I need 2 approvals before I can have a bill paid. Expensify, we've heard of before. PayPal, not available here in Namibia, but you can, integrate it if you were in a country that it was allowed. If you've got Xero projects that you can also add in. Another Unleashed software is very popular also, and then but you can search by industries. You can go inventory. If we go to inventory, you've got there Unleashed, Katana, Sync-Core, Tidy Stock. I'm just trying to think of the one that I was looking at the other day, which was more sort of point of sale. Lightspeed, yeah. So Lightspeed retail is something that is being used in Namibia quite regularly. Okay, so Lightspeed, we've got Benson for the hotel industry, for example. Lightspeed is sort of food and beverage kind of industry. So with these add-on products, and you can add 2, 3, 4 products that have different functionalities. I wouldn't add the same thing, 2 products with the same, or 2 subscriptions with the same functionality. That would make no sense, but you can actually go in here and you can shop. I haven't met anyone from any one of these software providers or subscription software providers that has not been willing to help. I must say that the level of service and the level of comeback on most of these products is outstanding. But it does have a little star system here, so you can actually go into the star system and have a look at it. Right, and then moving on to our next. I just want to get, I don't know why it keeps on going back there. I keep on jumping around. Right. So that's our marketplace. If we go a little bit further and we have a look at the pricing luckily has stayed the same. Unfortunately, the US dollar, Namibian dollar exchange rate has gone sort of haywire, but there's 3 simple pricing structures: starter 25 US, standard 40, and premium 54. South Africa has rand pricing. Before the US dollar fell, it was actually much better to buy your subscription through Namibia because the exchange rate was favorable for us, and so we are actually paying less than South Africa. Now we're more or less paying the same as them. So the starter pack, the main big difference there is you don't have bulk reconcile transactions, multiple currency, and you're limited to 20 sales invoices and 5 supplier invoices per month. The standard 41 has got all of the functionality built in, except multi-currency, and then the $54 package per month has got multi-currency built into it. You can obviously then add claim expenses from an extra $4, track projects, and you can buy the Analytics Plus for an extra $7 per month. Right, and those subscriptions generally we subscribe on behalf of you. At the end of the day, you can put it on your credit card and invite us as advisors, or alternatively, we can set it up for you and then invite you into the setup file. So those are the 3 structures. I know the other day I got a client who's got 20 companies. When generally, if you're hitting, the 5, 6, 7 companies that you're bringing over, we do look at a subsequent subscription discounted price. I think that discounting will go up to about 8% on further subscriptions. So your first subscription will always be at the standard price, and then if you add another 4, then we could give those to you at an 8% discount, or up to 8% discount. Okay, but it's well worth it. I promise you, go and do the costing, go and have a look at what you're paying for consultants to do your backups, the kind of hardware upgrading that you're requiring, all this kind of things. You go and have a look at that, the amount of time that's spent on that, downtime, network downtime. The internet is rarely off. And if it's off, you could carry on working on your cell phone or your iPad, or you could go and sit at Slowtown and have coffee and use their free Wi-Fi and process your books there. Whereas if you're on a network and something happens, you could be down for 2 or 3 hours and no one can process. So really good functionality. It appears to be expensive. So it's $800 per month, Namibian dollars per month, let's say, which is what I think if you're looking at, $800 times 12, you look at $9,600 for your accounting package. It's unlimited users, no backing up, no hardware requirements. As long as you've got an internet connection and you can log into Xero, you're able to process. So I think when you do a cost comparison, remember to bring these other additional costs into account that you're not going to incur because you've got an online software package. Right, and then my favorite slide, which is always sort of HubDoc versus Receipt Bank. I'm going to show both videos, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut about my personal opinion on it. Although I must say that both are impressive for what they do. HubDoc is impressing me more and more and more. And Dexter's the old stalwart of this particular thing. But basically what you're looking at here is you send your online invoices to one of these sites. It then pulls out all of the information and pops that directly into Xero for you. You can even take a picture of a slip. I have previously even taken a picture of a handwritten invoice, and it managed to pull 90% of that invoice through into Xero. So let's watch these two videos, and then we'll get on to the exciting part.
HubDoc integrates with Xero to make it easy to manage your receipts, bills, and transactions. Use HubDoc to extract data from your bills and receipts, record them as transactions in Xero, and reconcile them in a single click. To get started, create your free HubDoc account. Pick your organization name and select HubDoc. Read how HubDoc benefits your business, then review and agree to the terms and conditions. When you're ready, click Set up HubDoc. Follow the steps to connect your small business to HubDoc. Click Sign in with Xero to go straight to your HubDoc dashboard. Now, let's upload a bill to HubDoc. Click Upload Document and upload the bill. Close the window when it's complete. Click the bill to, choose the document type, and check the extracted details are correct. If any fields marked with a red star are incomplete, be sure to enter their information. To add this bill as a transaction in Xero, click the arrow to expand the Xero destination. Confirm the transaction type and status, the Xero contact the bill is from, and the account code. HubDoc may autofill these fields for you using data it's pulled from Xero. Enter a description, then click Publish to create the transaction in Xero. You can head straight to the transaction from HubDoc and add a payment on the spot. Otherwise, head to your bank reconciliation screen and reconcile the transaction in a single click. So, connect HubDoc to Xero to quickly and accurately record transactions. Search HubDoc in the Xero Help menu to find out more.
Okay, that was almost the most unenthusiastic sort of video on HubDoc, and we'll watch the next one. It does very much the same, but maybe one or two steps more, but will be at an additional cost. So I think that's the straw that sort of breaks the camel's back. So I think it is Dexter Pan.
Dex Prepare. Make bookkeeping more profitable. Prepare your client accounts automatically. Hours saving software to automatically fetch all your business data into one single view. Connect to over 1,400 suppliers. And build. Set smart rules to read the information and categories by tax code, supplier, and customer without lifting a finger. Match transactions with spending by connecting your client's account. Next instantly, reconcile in seconds. Dex Prepare is the power to do more.
Okay. You'll see where Dex Prepare is going. If I can, HubDoc is automating your data extraction into Xero. Dext does the same, but they've gone like one step further. So they're automatically, for example, connecting to the city of Windhoek and pulling your invoice from the city of Windhoek. So you wouldn't even get an invoice from the city of Windhoek. They would simply go in, pull your invoice from there, then push it into your accounting package. And when you made the payment, they would also most probably handle that and push a sort of payment or a receipt through into the city of Windhoek. So they're going to where that whole sort of process would be automated, which is a wonderful place to be in. I just feel that some of my clients are very, 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 very conservative and much rather be, I think some of them would even go back to checks if we could, because you had control there. It was all about your signature on a piece of paper. So, but I do find that once a traditional accounting client has experienced Xero and experienced the reporting, and that once they become confident with it, that they love the program. They don't know why they stayed on a traditional accounting sort of hardware-based software. And as I said, there are many of the newer accounting programs are coming online. So you've got Sage 1, you've got QuickBooks, and I'm certainly not afraid to mention them and see they are part of the competition. I have my personal opinions about them. I just feel that especially our journey, BDO's journey with Xero, has been a spectacular one where we've been able to increase productivity and increase client sort of face time and communication. So for us, at the moment, Xero is still the better option of all the others. But you might have a different opinion. Then I say enjoy your journey also with whatever accounting software you got. But Xero for me with HubDoc or Dext is incredibly powerful tool. Okay, great. So once again, that took an hour. I can't seem to get that recon. I can't seem to get these 7 slides done in less. I think we did it in slightly less than what we did before. So what I'd like to do now is there. Let's spend 5 minutes. And are there any questions? I'm just trying to get back to my screen, and there's the screen. Okay, I want to just check with everyone and ask, do you have any questions before we move on to sort of the reporting, where I can show you some of the reporting that's available? Yes, Lucas.
Yes,
Lucas?
Good morning.
Morning.
Is it Lucas' turn or mine?
Oh, I don't know. I'm seeing who picked up the Lucas has got his hand up. Who are you speaking to?
You're speaking to Anna.
Oh, Anna. Yes, hi. I can
Yes,
see you
Warren.
there.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out how does one now get to find out the systems that are maybe compatible or will be able to be integrated to Xero. That is one. And let's say I got now a traditional software, accounting software. How do I migrate my data to Xero? Is there an option for that? And on video side, do they give support, or are you just there to give us training? Because I think for us, it will be more comfortable also if we have a Namibian person that we're speaking to.
Absolutely.
I think that's all from my side for now.
Great. Anna, wonderful. Let me quickly deal with your queries. Okay, so I'm going to go into my into our Xero financial area. Quickly get into I think I'm going to somewhere along the line. I'm going to throw someone out here. Okay, let me go back into Xero.com for you. Right. So when I asked two questions. Number one, the Xero migration. So there's one of two options that you can do. Either you can manually import. So if we go into the manual import, and for purposes of this, we'll use the demo company. So if I open up a blank set of accounts, I can obviously go into my accounting advanced, and on my conversion balances, I can actually import a trial balance with balances as my starting point into that. So you are able to import your trial balance, if I can put it that way, as a conversion date balance into the system. So that would be number one. Number two is if you're on either QuickBooks or Sage, we can have your data, 2 years of your data, imported into Xero transaction by transaction for free. Okay, so there's a company that will do it for free. If you want up to 5 years of data, depending on which version of the of QuickBooks and Sage Pastel you're on, and for a small fee, they will import 5 years of data into your Xero set of accounts. So you are quite easily able to bring in your opening balances, and or you can actually bring in your opening transactions using Cloud Convert is what the company is called. So we very often use Cloud Convert. I think they're sick and tired of me at the moment, but I simply send a backup, or you give them access into your QuickBooks Online system. They go in, they then extract that information, push it and convert it and put it into Xero. If you want to do the sort of more traditional one where you close off on an accounting system, let's say at the 31st of December, you can come in here, and if I wanted to bring in my chart of accounts, for example, I would go here. I could then go import my chart of accounts, and if I click on the import button, it actually gives me a template. So it will say chart of accounts, CSV file for tax registered companies. And you simply download that. It then asks you, are you importing account balances? You can say yes or no. If you say yes, then obviously it asks you some more questions like when are you bringing the stuff in? And you simply go import, and it brings in all of your accounts with their opening balances. Okay. The second part of your question was Namibian support, and I'm happy to say that per my Xero headquarters, I will tell you now that we have, if I'm not mistaken, I have 36, I think. It might be a little bit less now, but I think we have 26 certified staff members at BDO who are all Xero advisors. So not only can we support you here in Windhoek, but also at our coastal office in Walvish Bay and Swakop, basically, and then also through our office in Oshakati. So we have 26 certified staff that are able to assist you. I hope that answers your two questions.
Yes, it does, Warren. Thank you so much.
Great.
I think I had another one. Was it now? We have a client in the hospitality industry, and they were looking at an option of buying a booking system for their facility. And the recommendation they got was it can be integrated with Xero.
Yes.
From the integration side, on your side, do you perhaps give such support, or is there a specific person that we can maybe speak to that can just make us understand as to how it will work?
Yes. Look, generally, your Xero advisor, which would be us, would discuss with your other software provider the integration. So I've done a couple. I've done Lightspeed integration, and I've done Benson, I think was the other one that we've done. So the integrations are not that difficult. The integrations is basically the one software saying, listen, the sales are here. How do I put, generally it will put through a total of the sales into your Xero. So it's just basically going into the other accounting software and saying, yes, the sales account is this account, the VAT account is this account, and then the integration is done automatically. But yes, we are able to assist with that. The integrations, we've never had an issue with any of them at this point.
All right, no, thanks, Warren.
Good, great. Lucas, you've got a question?
Yes, good morning, Warren.
Morning.
Yes, the question, I'm having three questions.
Yeah.
One is that, yes, as I'm a consultant bookkeeper with more than 10 clients,
Yes.
how should I go about it? Is Xero built according to the number of clients, or how do the bill comes in? That's number one.
Yes.
Number two is I just want to know the payment option when it comes to Xero. When I want to be a member of Xero, or to buy or to acquire Xero software, what option is there? Is there any debt order, or just a cash on delivery? Three is that is more similar to Anna. Just want to know what type of the remote support do you have? Do you offer? Are you
okay?
Yeah. Those are the three questions.
Great. So good. So yeah, the Xero subscription is generally credit card based. So and it is a monthly subscription. So in other words, when you sign up, they will put through a monthly subscription debit order, very similar to Netflix or whatever. They'll put a monthly subscription fee through for you. If you are a advisor like us, and I think I'm going to still need to speak to Sarah for you this morning. But if you're going to be an advisor, then there's one of two options. Either the client can subscribe on their own credit card, and then they invite you as an advisor. Alternatively, you can create the company, but then it goes on your credit card. And then you invite the client, and then you bill the client, for the subscription. So, but it works either way. Either you can have that subscription on your account, or alternatively, the client can subscribe on their credit card, and then they invite you as their advisor. Okay, so it will both will count as your client in essence. And then the third option is we have a corporate subscription to TeamViewer. So we simply ask that a client downloads TeamViewer onto their machine, and then we're able to give remote support in most places. So I think the furthest that I've given support to a client is when I was sitting in Rio last year. So so from Rio, I have been able to support a client using TeamViewer. The other side of it is that no matter where I am or where any of my other advisors are, there's generally someone close to you, from a BDO perspective. But if not, some of my farming clients, we support you using so you just need to download the TeamViewer on your machine, the client version on your machine, and then we as a corporate, I'll just ask you what are the credentials, and we log in and support that. Okay. Great. Lucas, does that answer your questions?
Yes, very well. You
Great.
did, sir.
Okay, wonderful. I think, great, thanks. Okay, if we could take a 5-minute break. So I'm just going to break for 5 minutes, and then we will, so 11:10, I think just toilet break for everyone. And then we will start the reporting side, the demo on the reporting. Okay, 5 minutes. 11:10. Thank you. Right, guys. We're back. Okay. Great. I hope we still have. Sorry, Lucas, are you still asking another question, or can we put your hand down? Oh, okay. I think it's down. Great.
No, sorry, Warren.
Yes. Yes.
I just want to find out, like me, I do not have any system at the moment, but rather when I'm preparing the financial statement for the clients, I use DraftWorks. Now, DraftWorks, I'm just paying by installment. Regardless, they are not counting the number of clients that I'm having. I'm only having a fee that I'm paying. Now, as I'm based at the north, and sometimes the understanding of the client here, they find sometimes the fees is too high.
Yes.
Now, if we are going that way, that each client has to be built, or I have to include each client that I'm having to pay for that client, or how?
Yes. Look, Lucas, I think that's possibly a discussion for that you and I can have a little bit later. But just to show you very quickly, what you can do with Xero is, and it has to do with reporting. So we can quickly have a look at that. If I'm here in my practice, I can actually go to reports, right? And on these reports, I am able to draft financial statements. So with my reporting template, very similar to DraftWorks or Caseware or any of those other programs, I can actually draft a set of annual financial statements. Now, we've got a set here for BDO financial reporting for SMEs, for example. Just want to show you the template. So when I can actually draft my own template of a set of financial statements, and then, for example, let's go to our statement of financial position, for example. I can draft these sets of financial statements. Now, this is just pulling out random numbers, but it is pulling it from the demo company. So when I go into my client, when I'm in my demo client and I go to reporting, as an advisor, I get an extra tab. So when I log in as an advisor to a set of one of my clients, I get an advisor tab. And on that advisor tab, I have access to my financial reporting for SMEs. So when I pull this report, it pulls it for this client automatically. So it is almost like an interlinked DraftWorks already built into Xero, the Xero headquarters. So without getting into too much detail on that one, we could discuss that, but we're actually moving away from DraftWorks and from Caseware and purely using the Xero headquarters. Because it's got financial statement reporting in, and on top of that, you also have a thing called work papers that gives you an electronic audit file or NEPA file, if I could put it that way, already built in. Okay, good. Okay, but getting back to the reporting. Obviously, on our accounting menu, we have reporting, and what you will see there is all the different versions of the reports that we can do. So you can either show the descriptions or not show the descriptions on the reporting. That's up to you. And if you are a seasoned Xero user, you would have in the past seen something that says old version or old report, upgrade now, etc., etc. I don't want to get too much into that, but Xero is going through a reporting change. They're changing the software that's working with the figures. If you've got some of those old reports still showing and you need some advice on how to change them into the new reports, please give me a call or contact our offices, and I'll be able to assist with that. But that actually, that change is effective now the 31st of July. So within a couple of weeks, all the old reports will not be functioning anymore. They will all be new reports. Having said that, I'm only going to deal with the new reportings that are available here at the moment. Okay, great. So having a look at your reporting now, sometimes you want quick access to your reports. In order to make a report quick accessible from the menu, you can simply click on the little star there, business performance. It adds it to the top here, but it also adds it to our menu here. Okay, if I don't want it there, I can simply take it off and my business reporting will disappear off of there. Okay. The reporting is divided into financial performance. So you can see you've got a budget manager built in, a budget summary, you've got cash summary, business performance analytics. Then you've got your financial statement side, you've got your balance sheets, you've got a blank report that you can write your own little report on, a depreciation schedule if you're using fixed assets, profit and loss, so your customer and your suppliers, where you can pull out your detailed payables and detailed receivables, any expense claims that have been done. Then you've got your payroll side of your reporting. Obviously, we would not use that because we don't have the built-in payroll. We would get that from PaySpace. And then you've got reconciliations like your bank reconciliation, cash validation, customer report, a reconciliations report. You've got your taxes and balances. So you can have a look at your foreign currency gains and losses, which it works out automatically for you. And you can also have a look at your sales tax report. You can have a look at a journal report, your trial balance, etc. And then transactions, your detailed ledger, duplicate statement lines, inventory item details, sales by item, item summary. So nicely categorized for you, and each report is then also customizable. So if we just have a look at the top here, under reports, we've got different tabs. We've got a home tab. This is where all the reports are available. Then we've got a custom tab. In other words, where I have customized a report. If you are an advisor, we've got the advisor tabs report. Then we've got draft reports. In other words, where I'm busy with a report, but I haven't yet finalized it, I can save it into my drafts. And then I've got published reports. In other words, where I've finalized the report and I publish it into a PDF document. That means that that report is now ready for the directors or ready for the members or ready for the shareholders. And then obviously archived reports. If your published reports gets a little bit too full, you can archive those reports. Or if you're in a new year, you can put them into the archived folder. Okay, great. So I'll go through one of those things, and I'm going to take a particular report. And in this instance, I'm going to take something that we can deal with quite nicely, which I think is going to be the balance sheet. So if I click on the balance sheet, it will initiate the balance sheet report. I'm going to take the tips and tricks off at the moment. Okay, I think I might need to pull that out. So it's not showing us anything, so let's pull it out for 31st of December 2023. Let's put it out for 31st of December 2023 and see if it does anything. Yeah, okay. So at the top here, we have our options that we can choose, and you can see that I just chose the 31st of December, but I can either put a custom date in. I can say the end of last financial year, the end of last quarter, the end of last month, etc., etc. I can also then say, I want to compare this with, compare it with 4 years for me, please. And if I click the update button, it'll then obviously add in the 4 years comparative figures for me. Okay, unfortunately, we don't have comparative figures here, but you can see how easy it is for me to actually pull in all the comparatives. And then I can also go and filter it further. And I can filter it by my tracking category. So, for example, maybe I want to have it by East Side, North, South, West Coast, and unassigned. But I only want it for maybe the North. Then I can say, well, I just want my balance sheet for the North. And if I apply that filter, it'll most probably now show me zeros, but no, it didn't. Now it'll bring me out the balance sheet that relates only to the North, or that part of it that relates only to the North. Okay, so there are various options, and every report has its own set of options that you can pull out. Also, you'll find some very common formats that are available on this side. For example, the monthly comparison. In other words, if I click on the monthly comparison, it will now give me my balance sheet per month. So it was a monthly comparison. So I have July, June, and May. And it's pulling it out on today's date, but obviously I can pull it out on any date I want, or quarterly or yearly. Right, but let's say I like this balance sheet, and I'm going to pull it out for a custom date, which would be December of 2023 on the 31st. So let's say I like this balance sheet, but I really, really, really want to I've actually done it now with 2 months. So I've compared it with 2 months. So my comparison, my period comparison is month here, or quarterly, or yearly, or daily. You know, even put out a balance sheet daily. But let's leave it at monthly because it gives us some comparatives. But let's say I like the report, but I would like to add a comment. So I can also insert I can insert a text block, and if I click there, it should add a text block in for me. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Come on. No, it's trying to pull the report. Sorry. I clicked on the wrong thing there. So let's say I would like to add a note here. You see I get an add a note section there, and I can click and add a note, and it puts one there. And I can say, this looks good. Okay, and if I go done, it then puts a little one there, and it says this looks good, and I can add my notes in here. But I maybe want to do something else. I want to not show all my fixed assets on here, or there's something else. You can also insert a footer and a text block onto your report if you want to add any more information on it. But I want to actually do a little bit more. I'd like to not show those fixed assets in detail. So what I can then do is I can actually go in and edit the layout of this report. And when I go into edit layout, you'll see it brings that report out for me, and there is training on this. So, but obviously we are available to assist you where necessary. But you can see I've got fixed assets here, and I've got a little, it says show, but if I close that, it then makes it one line instead of showing me the detail. So if I then go, please update my layout. You'll see that now It seemed to take my fixed assets away. Why did it do that? Or am I just bank? What did I do? Current assets. Oh, there's fixed assets. So fixed assets is now just one line. In other words, it's not a I haven't pulled it out as a main. So it's bank, current assets, and fixed assets, and there it is in total. Now, if I wanted to, I could then say, well, I like my report like this. I would like to save it as and I can either save it as a draft, as a published report. In other words, I'm finished with this report and I want to send it to my directors, or I can save it as a custom report. And I can say, yes, please save this as a custom report. It's going to be called balance sheet, monthly comparison, no FA, no fixed assets. Now you can say make the custom report the default report, but I don't want to do that at this point, and I can go save. So when I now go to my custom reports, on my custom tab, I now have my own report here, balance sheet, monthly comparison, no fixed assets. Okay. And if I make any changes to that, I must just remember to save it as a custom report again and again and again. If you save the custom report as your default report, then it will save it as your balance sheet here, but you do have the option to view the older version of this report. In other words, you can always go back to delete the customization of that report, for example. And this I can obviously do even in more detail. So if I take that custom report, and I want to be even more dramatic. So I'm going to go edit layout, and we're going to say, I would like to add in another column here. So I'm going to go, we're on columns. So let's add a column into it. We will call it a notes column. So I can add in a notes column to that. I can also add in a percentage column. So we can say, well, I'd like, that the percentage to be between November and December. Select column percentage of selected rows. So I can say show the select column as a percentage. So show that as a percentage of let's say, our assets, just for. And if I go update my layout, it would then add all sorts of things into it. So I should now have all the columns that I thought of. Okay. So you can then customize that report. You can even go in and add lines. So you can go in and you can say, well, my bank, let's put bank over here. I want it below fixed assets in actual fact. And current assets and my current assets and current liabilities, I would like my current liabilities to actually be here with my current assets. Okay. And then I say, let's update the layout. Now I'm doing ridiculous things. I'm pulling things from one side of the balance sheet to the other side. How could my balance sheet possibly balance? Well, it's always going to balance your balance sheet, because obviously if I'm in my asset section here, and it should balance the balance sheet. Yes, so 3029 and 3029. So it's still balancing my balance sheet, but I now have my current assets and then my current liabilities, but that is now under actually assets, which is not correct, but it will balance it for you. So it's going to force balance the reports to make sure that your reporting stays within the balance. If it can't, it will tell you that it cannot, it can't save that change. So you can see the absolute power that you have in customizing your reports for your clients, number one. And number two, you know, that once you've got a custom report, you can actually, you know, be quite creative with your services to your clients with regards to the kind of, you could set up a set of management accounts, for example. I could actually say, no, I just want to have just the figures and none of the detail. I only want the bank detail, for example. I could also say, look, I'd like to add another line in here. So if I go here and I say, well, please, let's add another line in here. So we are going to put add a row, and let's just call it a group. And it says untitled group, and I can go here and I can add in whatever, Warren's totals. Okay. And then I'll say it should be a debit, it must be a total, and include accounts by code. Account code range, I can even put from 100 to 199, exactly what they suggest there. And I go done. It's now going to put Warren's totals in there. I'm being a little bit ridiculous now, just to show you the kinds of reports that it would do. If I like this report and I didn't like the other custom report, remember I'm in my custom folder. So if I now just print this and then I go out, I'm going to lose all these changes because I've never saved it as, right? So I've never saved it as a custom report, and then I would go BS monthly comparison with Warren's report, and I go save. Now it will save this report separate from my other reports. So when I go to my custom reports, now I will have two different custom reports. And so we can carry on. You can add these reports in as many as you want to. I could then also say that I would like to star that report, and then it will be on the actual menu over here. Okay, so you've got incredibly powerful reporting functionality available for you. For example, a lot of my clients complain like they don't like the ledger, the general ledger details. So if you pull out the general ledger detail, it's one of the newer reports. You'll see it just looks quite overwhelming, and overwhelming in the sense that there's too many columns. So you see, it says it's too much. I don't need the tax rate because there's no tax in here. So I can simply go 10 columns selected. I can go here and I can say, no, I don't want the tax rate, the tax or the tax rate or the tax rate name. I will require the source because that's nice, and the description. The reference is also good. Okay, so I don't want those, and I go update, and I should now have something that resembles you know, some of the other reporting that we've got. So we've got our normal debit and credit and a running balance over here. So that's perfect. So that's the way I want it. But if I don't save this as a customized report, then it becomes an issue. So what I can do is I can say, well, save as my custom report, general ledger detail, right? But make the custom report the default. And if you click there, it says this will replace the standard report on the home tab and affect all users for this organization. So if I go like that and I go save, next time I pull that report out, I've actually now saved the default report. So we'll pull it out again. General ledger detail. And it should now not have the tax on it. Okay, so it doesn't have the tax rate on it. It's saved it now. I can also group my accounts differently. So I can group them by, and we can by none or account name and code, or we can summarize them by account number, code. We can also filter these transactions. So you can also say, well, I'd actually like to filter my my invoice number contains, or let's rather just say I'd like to filter it by source, where the source is in actual fact just manual journals. Okay, and if I do that, it'll give me the detailed ledger. There's no manual journals. Let me rather do one where it says where the source is a receivable invoice. So we call it a receivable invoice. And I go apply one filter and update. And now it will only give me the sales invoices. Okay. So I've now done a whole bunch of different things and grouped by, we'll say, account and update it, and then it will give me more or less what we had before. So now I only have receivables invoices on here. Okay, similarly, on your reporting menu, a lot of people ask me, where's the budgeting feature? The budgeting feature is under the reporting menu, under Budget Manager. And basically here, I'm given my budget, and I can then go in and I can say, well, my interest income is going to be $100. That's what I budget for. And I wanted to increase, either be the same amount for the next 12 months or adjust it by $5 every month. And if I go apply, it will get 100, then 105, then 110. Or I can say, please adjust it by, I'm going to make this 200 and adjust it by 5% every month. And there, sorry, let's just go back there. And then we say, please adjust by 5% every month. And now it will adjust it by 5%. If I had a chart of accounts that was quite extensive, then I could say, please export this into Excel for me, which it does. I can then open that. And if I open up that file, I can then go in and I can manually adjust these figures. So I could go in there and say, well, that must be $205.67, right? That $205.67. You shouldn't change anything on this Excel spreadsheet. In other words, add columns or add any rows on it. But you can then go and manipulate these figures manually. If I'm happy, then I go save. I can then go back into my reporting, wherever it is, and I can say, please import my budget. Should change that one there. I can browse, fetch my file. Oh, it's not going to be there. I have to go in Macintosh hard drive. This is downloads. And it should be that one. And I can go open and import. And it will simply change 32 accounts were updated, and I can just go confirm.
Okay.
And it should have now changed that one figure for me, 206, whatever. I don't think it does it in sense, so it's just discarded those ones. Okay, to 221, 232. Okay, so you can actually manually enter your budget in here too. Right. The other parts of the reporting, obviously, you can build in a lot of other reporting with regards to, you know, like add-on modules or other software that's available there. But I find the reporting to be quite manipulable, and you can actually go and create your own set of reports that are important. So, for example, if I choose the blank report, which I've never seen an accounting software do before, is sort of give you like a blank template and say, you know, go and create a set of accounts. Here you could actually go in and you can now go and edit your layout on the report. And there is training available that shows you how to do this report. But it basically gives you one of those other reports and then gives it to you blank. You then need to go in and add your individual reporting title. So we can call this Warren's report. And we can go in and add a schedule, and we'll call it untitled schedule, and it's going to be called maybe fixed assets. It's debit, total numbering, and add accounts. And then I can go here and go fixed assets. We cancel that. Just trying to find out where these fixed assets accounts are. There's computer equipment, and I'm assuming office equipment. We can add the accumulated depreciation on those two, and we can go update. And then we can now add in our column. So we can add in a column there for let's put in budget, and we'll add another column in there for a formula. Okay. So you can actually go and create your own. I don't want to get too involved in it now. You can go and create your own reports. You can create a fixed asset register, but very often it's simpler to just go and find a report that you like and then manipulate it into a report that illustrates all of the information that you want. You could similarly, you know, a lot of clients have asked, you know, they want to have like your income statement. So if you go to your profit and loss, and they want it for, you know, years and years and years. So you can say, well, I want to give it to me for this financial year, please, and compare with the last 4 years. And we can update that. So immediately I've got my income statement, my profit and loss for 4 years. And tracking options are not available here. So, but then I would like to add in, for example, my budget column. So I can go in and I can say, please click here. And I want to add in a column, and I want to add in the budget column. So I take that and I move that there. And now I'll have 2023 and my budget. and 2022 and my budget. And you can add your budget to, or I want to add in a variance column. So let's add in a variance column. So we add in another column and we'll call it a variance. Put that variance there. And we'll say the variance is column 2000 divided by the overall budget. And we can then go update layout. So now I can actually go in and simply create my own reporting, my own, and it's very simple. It's not complicated. There's maybe one or two little different rules that you need to put in here, and then you would be okay. So there's the interest income budgets that I put into for you there already. Okay, and it immediately adds that in, and I can go and create my own now long report for whatever I wanted. Okay. So you don't need to know programming. You don't need to really know report writing. There's a couple of things that you can put in here. I want to add a gross profit percentage. I'm going to quickly do that for you. So I would go to my gross profit over here, and I would say, please insert a line, insert a row. I'll take that row and put it up there. I want to put it here by gross profit. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to say this will be, what is it going to be? It will be gross profit divided by sales. Isn't that my GP percentage? Okay. Times 100. Okay. Will be GP percentage. Okay. And I go update layout. And then I have my GP percentage in there. Okay, so very simple to do and quite easy to go and develop. The real good reporting comes from the fact that at the end of the day, your advisor, oh, I didn't save it now, but I will just save it as a custom report. It's fine. We'll call it WGC. Profit and loss. Okay, and when I go to my reporting, the true advantages that it has for your accountants is when I'm an advisor and I can simply come in and say, well, please apply the BDO financial reporting for SMEs to this company. And when I do that, I suddenly get my financial statement reporting out of here. So now I'm presented with my financial statements, and everywhere where there's a red, it means I'm missing information. But I can now go and pull my statement of financial position out, for example, by default for that it would appear in my financial statements. And if I'm happy, I can go publish. And assuming I'm happy, and the nice thing about the publish is that I now also have the option to make it BDO-derized, if I can put it that way. That's what we always call it here. So I can also say, well, actually, I want the report of the accounting officer to be after the members report. And I'm happy with the BDO, but let's put a draft onto this because it's not really in draft format, and I can go save. And when I do that, it actually saves this as a published report now. So just waiting for it. I think maybe our internet fiber optic lines have frozen over. They're still busy de-thawing from the last 2 days worth of cold. Come on. Right, okay. So now you see it's in my published. And my published report, you can't actually edit now. And you can also make it that, for example, your directors and your members that aren't involved in the accounting process, but would like to see the reports, that they can have access to Xero, but they will only have access to this reporting section. So they can come in here and draw their own reports securely from the site. If I open that, it'll actually open up the, sorry, I didn't mean to do it that way. I meant to do it this way, which was, is actually go and export it as a PDF. That's right. So when I export it as a PDF, it then actually gives me my report in the PDF format with my logos and everything else that I asked for it. So there we've got our BDO financial reporting for SMEs, and I've got my draft set of accounts ready to go with my members' responsibility, my report. So Lucas, if I was trying to answer you with your draft works, it actually has draft works sort of kind of built into it. Okay, so, and you can even, believe it or not, go and write notes to the financial statements too. So you can go and put in your notes, and this is just one set of accounts. I'm not, I think the set is not finalized at all at this particular point. But the power of the reporting is immense here. You can also, as a client, you can go and add in your company logo. You can go and add in some color and whatever else you want. And if you wanted to, you could even use the, I just want to get out of there now. For example, like the business performance report, which has you can see that there's, for example, you know, like your little graphs and things like that. And you can add or remove and change some of these ratios, but also if you go to Business Analytics Business Snapshot, and this is where reporting is going to move into in the future, is you're going to be able to add in graphs and things like that. So that's why they're actually updating this reporting, is that you can actually do more sort of these kinds of reports as opposed to the traditional income statement, balance sheet, trial balance, and that add some graphs and some things in here. And you can choose the last month, and so more sort of interactive reporting. Okay. We've got 5 minutes left. That sort of represents the power of the reporting. I hope that there was a benefit to you guys. I see we've got Anne that's asking a question also. But just before we get to the question and answer session, I just want to let everyone know, thank you for joining. If there's any questions with regards to reporting, especially if you've done customized reporting and you're going to change, that reporting might disappear by the 31st of July. Please get in contact with me and we can see if we can assist you and make sure that those reports have been safeguarded. Or alternatively, maybe there's a report that is an easier replacement for it. There are things like DraftWorks, case where there's that other one that I showed you a little bit earlier. on Spotlight reporting. Spotlight reporting is very, very, very all of that adds functionality. At the end of the day, a lot of the clients, the owners, the reason why they're unsatisfied with their accounting system is because they're not getting the right reports out. So they will never like the system until such time as they get the right reports out. So it's an ideal opportunity for you to show the power of Xero and any accounting system for that matter by the value of its reports and how it and what it reports. So with that, I'm going to close the session, but I'm going to keep it open so we can ask any questions. I'm available for the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. So if anyone's got any questions, you're more than welcome to hang in. If you don't want to, then you can leave. And I say have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you in 2 or 3 months' time. And please make any suggestions for any topics that you'd like me to go through in detail. Possibly I can go through a bank recon for you, or if you're battling with taking on of transactions, we can do an in-depth dive into HubDoc if you'd like to also. So let me know, let Nicole or Monique know, and we can move it from there. Great. Thanks, guys. And now, Anne, I will answer your question. Anne? Anne, are you there? Or Anna?
Yes, Warren, I'm
Yeah.
here. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It was actually very informative and eye-opening. I think we're still stuck on the traditional accounting softwares. Being in the cloud, it sounds very exciting. So thank you very much for the session. However, I just want to understand, especially when you were speaking about the advisor. Like if you get now the advisor icon, like myself, let's say I have a client that I'm assisting. Now, who will this advisor be? Will it now be myself? In terms if now I want the client to procure this specific software. And in terms of now your staff, in terms of support, is it a thing of us coming in for training, or how does it really work if we now like give the clients a go ahead to say that this is what's gonna happen? I just want you to shed more light on that.
Okay, look, number one, you need to certify yourself as an advisor. So the advisor training needs to be completed, and you need to actually have the advisor badge. So so that's number one. Number two, you need to actually register the firm with Xero as an advisory firm. So that's the next thing. And then when you have done that, then they will make available to you the Xero headquarters, which is what we use to summarize and get all of our clients' information on the Xero headquarters. So a normal user that subscribes to the service would not have that. They would not have the Xero headquarters or the financial statement capabilities or the advisor tab actually pulled in to them. They would just have the normal reporting. So that is number one. Number two is we're able to during that whole process of becoming an advisor, you would receive all the necessary training. Your staff would receive all the necessary training to be able to support your clients. So there would be no need for me to support you because you would receive all the training to support your clients. So,
all right.
But I mean, look, I'm a believer in I'd like as many people to be on Xero as possible, right? So our firm is more than willing to assist your firm, or I'm more than willing to assist you in your journey to migrate to Xero. So I think I have already had a conversation with Lucas, and I'm more than willing to do that for anyone who wants to move over.
Okay, no, that's good to know. Maybe if you can also just then share the contact person that after this session that we can be in contact with, if we have any
Yeah, and
question.
it doesn't work that way. Are you with Lucas, or are you separate from Lucas?
No, I'm separate from Lucas.
Okay. And don't you want to pop me an email, and then I will get they don't like to be approached because they're international firms, so they approach you, sort of kind of. So it's more like the FBI. So I'll be in contact with you. But I've been battling with Lucas, and I have to speak to Sarah now. In any case, I didn't get a chance earlier this morning, so I'll just add your name to the list. Okay.
All right.
Good. Are there any other
Warren?
questions? Yeah.
Yes, Warren.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for the very crucial sessions. We really appreciate.
Pleasure.
And it was really fruitful information that you give us, and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, Lucas, I'll be in contact with you shortly.
Okay.
Good. And Anna also. Is there any other questions? Jessica? Is everyone else happy? Great. Good. Okay, guys. If that's it, then please. Oh, yes, Anna.
No, I think that was earlier. I'm fine, Warren. Thank you.
Oh,
I'll just drop you an email.
Okay, wonderful.
There is often Shilongo.
I think I've got another hand there somewhere. I lost it now. Yeah, I'm trying to find. There we go. Who's put? Come on! I keep on being thrown out of the. There we go. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, who else put up their hand? Is there anyone else? Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Warren, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can.
How are you, sir?
Good, and yourself?
Good, good. Thank you for the presentation today. It was fruitful.
Yes.
I just wanted to find out whether the advisory function is it only available for let's say CAs or even non-CAs can have that function.
Well, I'm actually an accounting. I'm sort of like a accounting software advisor, so I'm not a CA either. So no, it is. As far as I know, your firm needs to be, or you need to be, in some way, shape, or form qualified as an accountant. It doesn't have to be. There's no prerequisites on it having to be, NIPA or a CA or a, it could be that you've got a diploma or a college. You need to actually apply to them. They'll go through that process with you. But also, I think, like NIPA has got that, what do they call that? Accountants that have sort of done accounting from school, that don't have a degree, but they've got all the years experience. You can also become a NIPA certified, if I can put it that way. So any of those kinds of formal or formal acknowledgement, I don't want to say qualification, say acknowledgement, that you are an accountant. They will evaluate it, and they might give you some prerequisites that you might need to, to adhere to. But generally, when you create a set of Xero accounts, you are the advisor on that set of accounts. But the advisory role where you've got a headquarters and various other clients below you, I don't think you get that functionality unless you register with Xero themselves as a preferred accounting firm. or advisor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your response.
But hopefully, if you're interested also, and you've got your own firm, then I'm more than welcome to include you on the list of people that Xero can get hold of if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll kindly appreciate it.
Just send me an email, and we can work it from there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Great. Jessica, sorry. Jessica, are you still there?
Hello, Mr. Warren.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. How can I help?
I just want to say thank you so much for the presentation.
A pleasure.
It was very nice. I just have a question on, do you offer any trainings like on-site?
We do offer the on-site training, but obviously there's a cost involved to that. So I suggest always that the clients at least complete some of the online training, and it's very simple to attend. If you want to, you could drop me an email. I create a trial company for you, which is for free. You then get an invite, you register on Xero, and then you can attend the training, so there's no cost involved in that. But if you want to have like a sit down session where I take your books and we go through and we try to get you onto the system with some training and that, then there's costs involved in that, and that would depend on your individual needs and requirements. So if you'd like, you're more than welcome to pop me an email, and we can carry on and discuss that privately.
Okay, yes, I'd like the second option, and I'll just drop my email.
Yeah, perfect.
So
and then we'll be in contact, or Joanne Prinsloo, who's head of our business services outsourcing department, will be there, but I will oversee everything.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Good. Oh, did I lose connection now? Something went crazy. No? Hello? Oh. Right, can everyone hear me? I'm hoping. Hello?
Yes, Warren, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, my earphones died, that's why.
Okay, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. Did I answer everyone's questions? Great. Okay. Guys, thank you very much. And please, if you've got any further questions, feel free to give me a call and or pop me an email. Have a wonderful week further. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.